Hi, boys and girls. I am so excited to see you today because we have some friends coming back to see us today. Do you remember who they are? Oh, I'm sure you do. Who is this? Right, that's Charlie, Sunday School Charlie, because he loves to go to Sunday school. And what's his friend's name? Do you remember? Preston. Good job. And what's his other friend's name? Look at his hair. Red. Charlie, Preston, and Red. And wow, are they in for some adventures? And if you noticed, Miss Kathy's all dressed today to teach you two new words, actually, two new words. So we're going to try this word because this is going to be in our story a lot that we're going to do about Charlie. It's an easy word. It's short. So let's see if we can sound it out, okay? What sound does this letter make? S. 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 O. O. S. O. W. W. So all right, so we've got S. O. W. S. O. W. Okay, I'm going to let you try. Say it loud so I can hear it. S. O. So. So. Now, do you think that means that I get some thread and a needle and I sew some clothes? Do you think that's what this kind of sew is? Well, it isn't. That's a different kind of sew. This kind of sew, do you know what these are? I have some up on here too. Do you know what these are? These are seeds. And what do I do with seeds? What does a farmer do with seeds? That's right. He puts them into the ground. Now, let's say I take this package of seeds and I put them in the ground and I water them. What do you think will grow? Did you say flowers? Did you say flowers? You are right. Do you see the other flowers up on my board here? Do you see another thing of flowers that match? Flowers, sunflowers. Now, if I plant sunflowers, pumpkins aren't going to grow. And if I plant flowers, watermelon aren't going to grow. Flowers are going to grow. Whatever I sow, put in the ground, that's what four letters, each sound at a time. R, R, E, R, E. That letter's quiet. The A is quiet. You don't hear it. R, E. What sound does a P make? P. R, E, P. Reap. Put it together. Reap. Reap. Whatever I sow, whatever I put into the ground, that's what I reap. Reap is what farmers do after the garden grows and they go out and they pick the tomatoes or they pick the beans or whatever they planted. They are reaping what they sowed. Now, what if I sowed, oh, these are a little bigger. What is that? Oh, yum. Miss Kathy's favorite. What is that? Corn. Corn. Do you see another corn up here? It's a little hard to see. There's another corn. Now, if I plant my corn seeds, will I get flowers? Will I reap flowers? No, if I plant corn, I reap corn. Miss Kathy doesn't like these a lot. Do you know what these are? Those are peas. Do you like peas? Miss Kathy doesn't like peas too much, but Mr. Winkle likes them, so we eat peas sometimes. If I plant peas in the ground, am I going to reap cucumbers? Am I going to reap tomatoes? No. If I plant peas, if I sow peas into the ground, I'm going to reap peas. That's just how planting works. Whatever you put into the ground, that's what comes out of the ground. And that's what we're going to be talking about, because God's Word has a lot to say about sowing and reaping. And Charlie's going to learn some lessons about sowing and reaping when he, are you ready for this? When he, where's he going? Can you see? When he returns to Shadow Mountain. Now, do you remember? You've got to think. Do you remember what happened the last time Charlie was at Shadow Mountain? Remember, he went with his friends, Preston and Red. Do you remember what they did at Shadow Mountain? That's right. They helped with the sheep, and they helped train the sheepdog. Do you remember his name? Lass. That's right. And the whole time they were at Shadow Mountain, they worked with Lass, and they helped Grandpa take care of the sheep. But now they're going back to Shadow Mountain. And this time they have big plans, because Grandpa promised the next time they came to Shadow Mountain, they could go up the mountain. Now, the reason Grandpa called it Shadow Mountain, it was so big that when the sun would come around, it would make a big shadow down on Grandpa's farm. So that's why he called it Shadow Mountain. But Charlie, Red, and Preston wanted to go up that mountain so badly. So they were in the car and they were talking to Daddy about going to Shadow Mountain. And they were just talk. And they were saying, and you know, Grandpa, not only does he have sheep, he has all kind of other animals too. So they were going to try to be able to work with some of the other animals aside from the sheep, but they especially wanted to have an adventure up on the mountain. Well, Dad said, well, listen, that's fine. But Charlie, Red, and Preston, you have to be very careful up on Shadow Mountain, because up on Shadow Mountain, nobody lives up there. It's just deserted. Like, there's no houses up there. And if you would fall or get in trouble or something, there would be no one to help you. But more importantly, up on Shadow Mountain, there's animals that sound like this. Are you ready? Can you hear that? What kind of animal would sound like that? Up on the mountain, Shadow Mountain, there are rattlesnakes, Charlie, and rattlesnakes can be very dangerous. So if you go up there, I want you to be so careful. Oh, we will, Dad, we will. And they talked and talked and talked. And finally, they got to Shadow Mountain. And there was Grandma and Grandpa waiting to greet them. Charlie loved his grandpa. Do you have a grandpa or a grandma that you really love? Well, he really loved his grandpa, and he was hoping that someday maybe when he grew up, he could be a farmer like Grandpa was. But he knew that was up to God. And if God wanted him to be something else, like a preacher and teach people God's word, or a teacher, or whatever God wanted him to be, that's what Charlie wanted to be. But boy, he would love to be a farmer like his grandpa. Well, Charlie's mom and dad brought the boys in, and they got all their stuff in their suitcases, and they knew what room to go to, and they took all their stuff up. And Daddy was talking to Grandpa, and he said, "You better keep an eye on him, Dad, because he's looking for adventure. And if those boys don't find some adventure, I think they'll make some adventure of their own." And Grandpa just laughed, and he said, "You were just like that when you were a little boy." So they got everybody in the house. They got all the stuff in the house. And Charlie's mom and dad were leaving. And they said, "Okay, boys, you make sure you listen to Grandpa like you did last time. Behave, and we'll see you in a week or so." Ah, they were so excited. And right away they asked Grandpa, "Can we go to Shadow Mountain, please? Can we make an adventure and go up to Shadow Mountain and find some neat, maybe some bugs or some animals or some frogs? Or can we go, please, please, please?" And Grandpa said, "Well, it's getting a little bit late in the day, and I don't want you up on the mountain when it gets dark. So let's wait till tomorrow morning. We'll get up nice and early, do chores. Grandma will pack you lunch, and you can go up to Shadow Mountain tomorrow. You can spend the whole day. Weather's supposed to be nice." Well, they were a little bit disappointed. But remember, they had gone to take care of the animals too, and they didn't get to take care of the animals last time because they were working with the sheep. So they went out to the barn, and Grandpa let Red, what's he got? Slop the hogs. Oh, phew, they were smelly and they were noisy, and they're eating all the food, and it was kind of a mess. And Preston said to Red, "You don't look like you're having too much fun." And he said, "I'm really not." He said, "But I am thinking about," remember, we've been talking about big kids, parables. Parables as stories Jesus told. Well, Red was thinking about a parable that he learned in Sunday school about a man who had two sons, two boys. Well, the one boy was very obedient and did what Daddy said, but the one boy, he just didn't want to be at home anymore. He wanted to go out and have a good time. And he said, "Daddy, I want you to give me the money that's mine, and I'm getting out of here." And his daddy let him go. And oh, he left and he had a good time because he had lots of money and he had lots of friends, and they partied and they had so much fun. But pretty soon, get rid of all my money. All his money was gone. And when all his money was gone, all of his friends were gone. And he had to go out and get a job so he could make some money. And his job was the same as Red's job. He had to take care of the pigs. He had to slop the hogs. And he was so hungry that even the food that the pigs were eating looked good to him. Does he look happy? Oh, and he was so sad, and he thought, "I'm going to go back to my..." Do you remember what that's a sign for? "I'm going back to my father. I'd rather be his servant." And he started on the long road back to his daddy. But his daddy was waiting for him. And he gave him a coat and hugged him, and a ring and a robe and shoes. And he welcomed him back into his home again. That's how God is with us. But Red was thinking of that story and those hogs and how horrible it would be to eat the food that the hogs ate. Well, Preston was having his own adventure with the chickens. Man, he got the seed that the grain that Grandpa had in the sack, and he was feeding the chickens, and the chickens were all over the place. And Red was pretending he was a chicken, and he was strutting around, and it was scaring the chickens. And Charlie said, "Stop it, Red! They're not going to be able to lay eggs. You're scaring them to death." And they were having so much fun. They were kind of glad they didn't go up to the mountain because they were having fun with the pigs and the chickens. But they were not prepared for what Grandpa was going to have them do next. And he wanted a volunteer. And nobody wanted to volunteer for this job. And you come back tomorrow and we'll find out what special job Grandpa has for Red, Preston, and Charlie. Well, now since we're doing a new story, we have to learn a new verse. Oh, this is a tough name to learn. It starts with a G, G. Galatians. Ooh, that's tough. Ready? Galatians. Galatians 6, 7. Good job. Do you remember? Galatians 6, 7. And here's how our verse goes. Let me get my words. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Galatians 6, 7. Listen to it one more time. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Galatians 6, 7. Now, we always learn a sign to help us remember our verse. And we are going to learn the sign for mocked. Mocked. Do you know what it means to mock someone? Let's say your little sister's crying. And she's, and you go, you're mocking her. You're mocking, you're making fun of her. What if someone falls and you go, ha ha, trippy, 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 trip? You're mocking them. And God doesn't like to be mocked. So we're going to learn the sign for mock. It's a little bit hard. Okay, you're going to take your hands and you're going to put down the 2 middle fingers and your thumb. So you only have your pointy, point to me, good, and your pinky. Your pointy and your pinky. Pointy, pinky. Okay, take one hand up near your face and leave one down here. 1, 2. Mocked. 1, 2. Mocked. And you want to have a face on. Mocked. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Galatians 6, 7. Pointy, pinky. Pointy, pinky. Okay, ready? Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Galatians 6, 7. Good job. You'll learn it. You'll learn it just like you learned all the other ones. Let's try it again. Ready? Pointy, pinky. Pointy, pinky. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Galatians 6:7. Okay, we're going to do one more song. We have a little bit of time. Now, this one is going to be a little easier. It's a lot of words, but it's a tune you know. So I think once you hear it, you'll be able to learn it very quickly. And if you can read, then you can read the words. Oh, be careful, little heart, what you sow, 'cause what you put in the ground is gonna grow. Plant loving, godly seeds, and your Father will be pleased when he sees your lovely garden start to grow. You know that song, oh, be careful, little hands, what you do. Okay, you know that song. All right, here we go. Oh, be careful, little heart, what you sow, 'cause what you put in the ground is gonna grow. Plant loving, godly seeds, and your Father will be pleased when he sees your lovely garden start to grow. You got it? Okay, you got it? All right, ready? Oh, be careful, little heart, what you sow, 'cause what you put in the ground is gonna grow. Plant loving, godly seeds, and your Father will be pleased when he sees your lovely garden start to grow. And for the next couple weeks, we're going to be talking about gardens and farming and having a good time at Shadow Mountain. I wonder what Grandpa has in store for those boys. You come back next time and we'll find out. I love you, boys and girls.